So I found this little guy in my garden. It's a snail and it is crawling across some arugula, which is a salad kind of plant, or you can put it on sandwiches or what have you. Anyways, look at how he's moving. Isn't that so cool? It's fun to watch. Look at those things on the end of his head. Those are called eye stalks. They're not antennae like you might see. Look what happens when I get close. Whoa, whoa, whoa. He's wiggling away. He has eyes on the end of those. Isn't that so cool? I wonder where he's going. He's not getting there very fast, that's for sure. So this is arugula too. You can pick it and, oopsie, you can pick it and put it in your salad. Sometimes I like to put it on a sandwich. It's really tasty. It's a little bit spicy, and you can see that's what it looks like when it gets blossoms on it. If you're wondering about those red flowers, if you look all the way up, there's another pomegranate tree. This one's growing out of my neighbor's yard, and I just let it come into my yard because I really don't mind getting pomegranates from it. And then here I have some lavender, and some of you know that lavender is very, very sweet smelling. So it likes to grow here against the stone wall. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that guy. It's a giant snail crawling on a leaf. That's so cool. Look how slowly he's moving. I wonder where he's going. Hey, little snail. Hi, little snail. I guess I shouldn't touch him. Look at those eye stalks. That's pretty cool. Well, wherever he's going, he's probably going to have a delicious lunch of old dead leaves. And of course, he'll be in a place that smells lovely, like lavender. I thought that was so cool to go out in the garden and I just happened to see some snails, and I just pulled out my camera to take some pictures and share them with you. I think one of the best things about nonfiction is that when you make a discovery, you can go learn some more. So one of the things I might choose to do after I'm done my work for the day is go read a little bit about snails that I might find in my garden, and what other kinds of snails there are, and what they're going to eat, and what kind of place they like to live. Where would I find more of them? All right. Yesterday, I showed you some parts of nonfiction books, and today I'm going to show you a few more parts so that you can really, really find information that you need when you're reading your nonfiction books. Let's go. Okay, I want to show you about a part of the book called Table of Contents. And in a nonfiction book like this one called Thunderstorms, the table of contents is at the beginning. Now that's sort of like in a fiction book where you have the chapters at the very beginning of the book as well, if you've ever seen a chapter book. Here we have the section, and then we have the page number. So that tells us where to find stuff. Storm brewing, how does a thunderstorm form, is on page 7. Chapter 4 or section 4 is weather watchers. How do scientists predict wild weather? That's on page 33. So this is a speedy way to find the kind of information I'm looking for, or maybe where I might find the kinds of pictures I'm interested in. At the back of a book, I might find something called a glossary. Now, this is a very big kind of college idea. When you're reading, usually you think, oh, I'm going to know what all those words mean. But in a nonfiction book, you actually might run into lots of words where you're not too sure what they mean. This book is called Let's Classify Organisms. And the glossary is at the end. So here you see it says glossary, and what you see is a word and then a funny spelling of that word that tells you how to pronounce it, how to say it, and then what it means. So for example, the word ingest is pronounced ingest, and it's a fancy word, so we have to read what it means. It means to take food or something other, some other substance, into the body by swallowing or absorbing it. So animals can ingest food. You ingest food. And that's the sort of thing you would find in a glossary at the end of a book. All right, the last part of a nonfiction book I want to show you today is called a diagram. Now, a diagram is a kind of picture, and in this book called Stars, I'm going to show you a diagram. It's right here. This picture shows all about stars and how the color of a star tells you how hot it is, and so therefore how old it is. And here it says hot, and here it says very, very hot. And in between it goes hot, hotter, very hot, and very, very hot. Diagrams can also be very, very detailed. Here's a diagram from this book. It's called Everything Ancient Egypt. So if you're interested in ancient Egypt, this would be a very, very interesting book for you. On this page, we see a picture of the inside of the limestone cliffs of the Valley of Kings. And so it's a drawing that shows all of the different rooms that you travel through into the cliff. And you'll notice it also has a heading. We've talked about a heading, and it has labels, right? Just like we've talked about. So a diagram can include some of the things we've talked about that are other parts of a nonfiction book. This is one of the things I think that makes nonfiction books so interesting. We can just look at the pictures for a long time and get so much information. I really hope you have fun looking through some of these nonfiction books. They were my children's when they were younger, and they're still really fun to look at. I hope you're inspired to go hunt for another nonfiction book in your house. Remember, it doesn't have to be a kid nonfiction book if you don't have a kid nonfiction book. It could be an adult one. But let's see if we can find these parts of a nonfiction book. Can you find the table of contents? Where do you find that? Do you remember? Let's think. It's at the beginning of the book, isn't it? And the table of contents tells us which page to find the information we're seeking. What about this one? The glossary. Do you remember where to find that? It's not at the beginning. It's at the end of the book. And the glossary tells us the meaning of words we're not sure of. Finally, what about this word? This is one of my favorite parts of a nonfiction book. This is the diagram. This is a picture way of showing information, just like we saw in that ancient Egypt book or the picture of the star colors. All right, I hope you have fun looking through nonfiction books. Tomorrow, I'm going to be telling you a little bit about how to find the information you're looking for in a nonfiction book.